because the couple got divorced.
One sale didn't go through because the couple got divorced? Okay, so what do you mean they were purchasing something together and then they end up getting divorced, or?
And I didn't include it in the clause or anything because I mean I didn't really think that's something we should.
Right.
But like yeah, and like they couldn't get it anymore because they were separating their finances and everything. So
Okay, so they no longer qualified for it.
yeah.
Ah, I see. Okay, but then you should turn that into 2 sales. I mean, I know we sound awful as real estate agents, but turn that into 2 sales then for yourself. Say, you know, I've been working with you guys real closely, and I'm really sorry what happened, but you know, I'd like to find you both something in your budget now. I know it's a little bit lower, right?
I tried to tell them to get the place anyway because they could still sell it and then you split the profit. Like they'll get more money that way, right?
Did it fall through after you firmed up the deal?
Yeah, they signed everything. Like it was,
and they let you
signed
mutual
conditional.
release?
It was
Oh,
signed
conditional.
conditional.
Okay, fine. Okay. Well, fair enough. Well, I just, you know, start off with kind of keys to working with buyers. So just a brief overview really quickly. So we know that everybody has access to the sold listing and the for sale. Now everything's online, right? Everything's really available. So we really have to focus on showing our value proposition to our clients, right? Especially our buyers, because if we don't, they can work with literally a million other agents out there who are working harder than you. So I know one of the big things is sign a BRA, but how do you get your client to sign the BRA? They have to trust that you're going to do the best job for them out there, right? So we have to remind our clients that we can, you know, look for information online, you know, definitely find them, like, you know, whether the property, who it was owned by, how long this owner has been, how, you know, maybe when they purchased it before, not just sold and listed statistics like they're finding online, right? We have to give them that little value proposition. We also can look at the broker remarks, right? So we can see when bid dates are happening, any special instructions, you know what I mean? We'll definitely have a leg up on that if they're just searching on their own online. Right? We have to remind our clients. I know there's a lot of buyers out there that, you know, they want to go directly to the listing agent because they think that they're going to get a better price. But we all know what happens at the end of that day. That listing agent isn't just going to give away their commission willy-nilly. They're going to make both sides of the commission at the end of the day, right? So we want to remind our clients that our value is that they're getting representation. When they go directly to these listing agents, the listing agent is, you know, governing both sides of the transaction, which becomes a tricky situation. Whereas when they hire you as a buyer agent, it's a free service to them. I always like to say free. People like to hear that. It's free service to you. The sellers are paying, but I'm going to be governing this transaction for you. I'm familiar with the legalese in all the clauses. I'm familiar with negotiation tactics. I'm familiar with looking over these and making sure that you're well protected within the agreement, right? So again, we're able to negotiate and get the fair best price, right? We're looking up all the statistics, what things have sold for in the past, and we have some skills. You know what I mean? You guys have to really have some confidence in yourself that when you do this on a daily basis over time, you do develop those skills of negotiation, right? You know, by just what the agent's saying on the other line, whether you have that little wiggle room to maybe come back with a sign back or no, it's a final, right? So you have to learn to see those little triggers when you're doing your transaction. And then you can say to your clients, look, my negotiation skills are really on point. I can do this, right? Make an emotional connection with your client. So this is super important, right? People don't use people they don't like. So if you're not answering their calls, if you're avoiding their texts, if you're not responding to emails in a timely manner, you know, they might find someone else who is responding to them quickly, because very often we find our buyers go a little bit rogue. They're searching for things online and they just get carried away. They might call a number that they see online, for instance, right? And so when they do that, you have to make sure that, you know, you're giving better service than that agent, because I always tell my buyers, hey, if you're driving by a sign and you see it for sale, call me. I don't mind. Anytime, I'll look at the price. What you're doing is you're avoiding them calling that listing agent, right? You want to show them their value and that you're taking good care of them. So you have to make that emotional connection with your client, whether you like it or not at the end of the day, right? You have to evaluate their needs. So if they're a really nervous buyer, you know what I mean? First time home buyer, you have to make them sure you're telling them calmly that you're walking them through the whole process. You're holding their hand through the process, right? If you're very scattered and like, you know, emotional yourself, perhaps you might scare them off, right? So you have to really evaluate your client at the end of the day. Analytical people need to know that you're knowledgeable. So I just recently bought a condo for this doctor downtown. And right from the bat, I know that he was an analytical person and he needed that extra care. I must have done at least 6 emails back and forth with stats year over year stats in the pocket of neighborhood that he was looking at, just to make him comfortable enough to go out on his first buyer visit with me. And he was a referral from a friend, right? So don't take the fact that just because they're a referral, they're going to use you. You know, definitely show them that value that you're going to do. They say amiable people need to know that you care about them. So people, like I say, who are first-time home buyers, they need to know that you're taking that time and energy and really assessing their needs to find them what they need, right? This is a big one for me, and this is going to be big to your survival. Be present at closing to ensure that your buyer's interests are protected. A lot of us do the sale and we walk away. At the end of the day, you don't want to do that. You want to touch base with your client a couple times. So I set reminders on my phone. Generally, we do the sale, it's firm, no problem. We take the lawyer information and we just wait till closing. About halfway to closing or a couple weeks before closing, I usually set a reminder on my phone, and I tell my client, I call my clients up and I say, hey, you know, I just wanted to remind you that you should cut the utilities where you are and put the utilities on where you're going. You want to have lights when you walk into your new house, right? Or you want to have heat when you walk into your new condo, right? So that's one touch point with your clients, right? Definitely touch base with them on closing day, because this is what's going to lead to your repeat business and your referral business. And trust me, I have good game when it comes to repeat and referral business, because I make sure that my clients really feel that I'm there. Closing morning, hey, congratulations, closing day, because my reminder pops up on the phone. The very next thing I do is text them, right? But noon that day, is everything going good? If you heard from the other side, has the lawyer contacted you? Let me know if you need anything. Okay. Might shoot them a text if I haven't heard from them about 5 or 6 o'clock when I know lawyers are closed. Did you get your key yet? Because usually by this point that they're talking back and forth with me all day. Maybe by 3 or 4 o'clock, they'll say, got my key. Congratulations. That's amazing. I'm so excited for you, blah, blah, blah. They want to know that you're there for them right to the end, right? If they don't, usually about 5 or 6, I touch base with them and I say, hey, what happened? Did you get your key? Oh, you're in. Great. Everything good. Anything you need, just let me know. You get settled in and I'll touch base with you in about a week. And then I do that follow-up call in a week. Hey, how's everything going? Oh, you know, I didn't get my mailbox key. You know what? Let me just shoot a message to that agent and find out where the mailbox key is. Little things that take a minute of your time will bring you repeat business in the future. 2-3 years when that person turns around and sells that condo, or 10 years from now when they sell that house, they're going to call you because they're going to remember that care that you gave them, right? So we have to make sure when we're sitting down with clients, especially if they're first time buyers, that they're aware of all the costs, okay? So a lot of people may think, oh, I've got enough money and I'm approved, no problem. My mortgage agent says, I need 20,000 down and I'm approved for this much mortgage. Great. Do you have your closing costs, right? Especially first time home buyers, you wanna make sure they're aware of closing costs, land transfer taxes, lawyer's fees, right? The last thing you wanna do is all of a sudden you have a first time home buyer, they're short to close and they're going to say, you didn't take care of me properly. They're not going to use you again in the future, right? So you want to sit down and have that little meeting with them the first time, whether it be in the first showing that you're showing them, or whether it be the first, time. I mean, coffee shops are not a thing right now with COVID, but hopefully that will stop soon. You want to make sure you sit down and you have that conversation with them, that they're aware of all the costs that's going into the transaction. They'll really appreciate it, right? Remind the client to be careful with the credit. So I put this into all my trainings, and you probably hear me repeat it again and again. This is one of the first things my father taught me when I became an agent, when I got my own license, because this happened to him. He had a client who bought a big house and was really excited. And he turned around and he went and he bought all this new furniture and appliances and everything for the brand new house. Well, come closing, what happens when the bank goes and rechecks, right? All of a sudden, their debt to income ratio is too skewed. Sorry, house isn't closing, right? Okay. So you want to tell your clients, I know you're really excited, but please do not go and buy a new car. Please don't, get the brick card and go rack up all the furniture at the furniture store, or buy that big screen TV until you have your key in your hand. Then you can go and do whatever you want. You want to remind them that the bank is going to be checking in real close to closing, and that can affect whether they got approved or not a month ago. When they firmed up the deal, they may not get the mortgage the day before it's closing. Okay. And it happens often. Okay. Or job changes, if they can avoid job changes too, actually. I mean, if it's inevitable and they lose their job or they get fired and they go find something else, fine. But if they can hold off any sort of job changes until closing, that's good as well, right? Remind the client during the transaction, they're welcome to call you. If they see any houses for sale that they may be interested, whether it be via ads, for sale signs, open houses. If they do make an impromptu stop in an open house, remind them they have to notify the listing agent they're working with an agent already. Okay, so this is big because a lot of our buyers, we're working hard with them. And I know open houses aren't a thing right now, but when they come back, you definitely want to remind your clients. I actually had this couple that I was working with, and I knew that they loved going to open houses on the weekend. Now, am I going to spend every weekend going to 15 different open houses with them? No, not necessarily. I literally gave them a stack of my cards and I said, okay, no problem. I said, just when you walk in the door, just give them the card and say, I'm already working with an agent, and you can walk through the open house, right? So there's different things that you can do to remind your clients, like, even if it's not a buyer, even if I've just sold a house for somebody, or if somebody's thinking of selling their house, I always remind my clients to call me. Oh, your neighbor's house goes up for sale. Even if you just want to be nosy, call me anytime. I'll look it up. It's a 2-second look up for us, right? And it just gives them that sense that you're working for them and that you're there for them. Okay. Always get your BRA signed. So we all know how important this is, right? Like I say, I could probably do buyer sessions for a couple of different things. I don't think we'll get into RICO compliance now, but I do want to get into some compliance. When I page it out, you guys, I tell you, really attend the compliance ones, because it'll stop you guys from some pitfalls, and hopefully you guys won't get any RICO complaints going forward. But get your BRA signed, right? Explain the document fully to your client and point out your responsibilities to them and their responsibilities to you. Meaning when they sign it, they can't go forward and sign another BRA, right? So this is a big thing. We were talking about credit not closing, and different things not happening right for people. You want to pre-qualify your buyers. So the first thing you want to do, I know you're anxious to take people out when they call and they want to see a home. Fine. The first time, I never ask too many questions. I take them out because I want to meet them. I want to go over all of this stuff with them. But once I meet them for the first time, we're having this conversation, right? Are you working with another agent? You have to ask them immediately. This is an on the phone question for sure. Are you working with another agent? Especially when people are calling off your listing because they're got a BRA signed with someone else and their agent hasn't told them to call them for any questions, and they're just dialing your number, right? Are you working with another agent? Have you been pre-qualified for a mortgage? So this is obviously huge. We need to know if they've been pre-qualified for a mortgage, because the last thing we want to do is find that beautiful house. They turn around, they submit all their paperwork and realize they're not qualified. They're qualified for $100,000 less than the bracket we've been looking in, right? What is your motivation to buy or sell? So this is what's going to make you categorize your clients from warm leads to hot leads to cold leads, right? So I generally ask a question like, oh, why are you guys moving? You're looking to get out of the neighborhood, whatever. If someone says to me, oh no, I just got a job in Mississauga and I start there in August. To me, that's a very warm lead, because what are we in right now? We're in May. They only have June, July, and August to sell their house, turn around and purchase something else, okay? So absolutely, every time you qualify your client, you want to ask what their motivation is. If someone says, I don't know, I kind of just want to look around to see if I can find something in the $700,000 range for a detached home in Scarborough, you think I can, you know what I mean? And if it's an impossible task, then that they don't have a high motivation, you're definitely going to put your other clients ahead of those. It's very important you categorize your clients and deal with your warm and your hot leads first, right? What type of house you're looking for. Of course, you need to know that, right? I know we forget at the end of the day, we want to ask them. So if they give us a budget of 900, it's not only our duty to go in and find anything in that price range. They might say, no, I don't want stairs, right? I'm getting older. I don't want stairs. I need a bungalow, or I definitely want something with a pool, or I must have 2 bathrooms in the house, or there has to be a powder room on the main floor. What type of house are they looking for? Because you don't want to be wasting your time sending them all these emails at the end of the day, and they're opening the emails going, no, 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 getting really bored with you, right? You want to check in with your clients too when you're sending them these emails. I know it's hard to get caught up in sending the prospect searches every day and just hoping they'll call you, but you want to check in with them every now and then and say, hey, are you getting the emails that I'm sending you? Do you like them? Do you want me to pan out the area a little bigger? Oh, you don't like the fact that I'm sending 2 stories, you only want bungalows? Great, I'll change that up. Check in with them, make sure you're keeping on top of them, right? What is your timeline? So again, that's like the motivation. Like, you need to know what time constraints they're working in. right? So you need to know how fast they need to purchase something. This is a huge one. I want all you guys to ask do never take for granted that people know this. Do you know the difference between deposit and down payment? So many people will go, isn't the same thing, isn't it? No. You are searching for 2 months. You find the perfect house. You win the bid date and you turn around to them and you say, okay, I need your 40,000 tomorrow to drop off. Well, I can't take it out. I bank at Simply. It takes me a week to order a draft, or my money's locked in RRSPs and I need, a couple weeks to transfer these things around, or it's in, whatever they have their funds. You need to tell them at the beginning, not at the time of offer, the difference between deposit and down payment. Okay, so your mortgage agent told you need $100,000 down payment. Great. We're searching in the $700,000 range. I need you to have $40,000 tangible and ready to go within 24 hours. Okay, this is such an important thing. And as a new agent, I see a lot of, as I've trained lots of new agents, I should say, I've seen lots and lots of them lose deals over this. They're really excited. They win the bid war and they realize there's some hiccup the next day because their client needs to move around the funds. Okay, so we need to explain to our clients that your deposit for our real estate transaction has to be tangible and available within a 24-hour period. So if you need to move it around, if you need to order the money out of another account, if it's in an account like one of these ones, like Simply's one of them, and I think Tangerine's another, that takes some time where there's no tellers, you have to call in and the bank draft takes a while, move the money out of that account then for me, please, while we're looking at houses. Okay. And the next one, are you planning to interview more than one agent? This is such a common thing nowadays. I literally had this client interview me with a little clipboard in hand, sitting with her husband, and she had like 30 questions, right? And she was interviewing more than one agent. So you want to know what kind of competition is. My style is, and I tend to train, when I train, I tell you guys, try to be the last one. So if they're interviewing everybody and nobody has asked them these questions, like, do you know the difference between deposit and down payment? Are you pre-qualified? What's your motivation? They're going to see the value in you for sure, and they're more likely to sign the BRA, and especially if you're the last one and they've heard everybody's value proposition already and your game is better, for sure they'll sign. So I always ask, are you interviewing more than one agent? Are you using more than one agent right now? Right? So that's a super important one. All right, so we'll go back to this for a minute and I'll stop the share and we'll just see how you guys are doing online there. How's everybody doing here? You guys got any questions for me so far? How are you guys doing online? Any questions for me so far?
Yeah,
have you guys
the last question,
yes,
is it very tricky, by asking that? We may lose the buyers, right? If we ask them, they think that we are not confident about our things.
What do you mean? If we ask them if they're working with other agents?
No, the last one, are you going to meet up with another agent? Like,
are you interviewing other agents?
Yeah.
Well, don't you want to know, like, say you've set them up on an email on your prospect search, and now you've sat down with them and you've had this preliminary conversation with them and you're calling them on a regular basis. Like, wouldn't you want to know if they're interviewing other agents or if they're working with other agents? Because you're either going to try and get your BRA signed and they're going to sign it, or they're going to say no. Why are they saying no? Are they interviewing other agents, right? I mean, you have to work it into a conversation, definitely, but I think it's an important question. I ask it, I say, are you working with any other agents? Are you interviewing other agents, right? Or am I the only one you're working with? Great, here's my BRA, right? Now I've just taken you out. I normally try to do it the first time. Doesn't always work. It might work the second time you take them out. A BRA is a little difficult to get people to sign until they feel confident with you, but you should be trying because it's a big protection for you, especially when things come to RICO. But you shouldn't be taking them out if they're interviewing other agents anyways, because how do you know they're not going seeing houses with you on Monday and another guy on Tuesday and another guy on Thursday, or houses with you in Toronto and houses with another person in Pickering? You want to know, right? Yes.
So how, like, let's say, I mean, they just like lie to you.
People can lie, but
Right,
the thing
so
is that
sorry, I just had a follow-up
Yeah.
because it's like, So let's say you say, are you using more than one agent right now? And then they'll say, no, but I just need some time to think about it and stuff, because I see this a lot, right?
Right.
But, and then they just, it's like, they'll tell you that they're not working with another agent, or they're not looking for another agent and stuff, but then they'll just, like, it's like, once you, like, as soon as you don't get them to sign the BRA, like, the next day they've signed with somebody else.
That's what I'm
right? So, and
saying.
then-
Somebody else is getting them to
Yeah,
sign,
so,
right?
like-
So you
like,
guys should be
how do you-
trying. Yeah.
One guy tell me.
Yeah.
He have 4 agents. He tell 4 of them.
Yeah.
Whoever find it, he buy it from him. He doesn't want to sign it.
He doesn't want to sign.
But he say, what he's tell me, he tell him,
That's what,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Yeah.
getting at, because it's like,
but
they don't wanna
whoever find
sign
it
until,
first,
yeah.
he
Yeah.
buy it from them.
Yeah, they don't wanna sign
Mhm.
until you've shown them
Show
that
the
you've
house
got
and
the
he-
better,
but
yeah,
he
like
say-
that.
Yeah.
Whoever showing that they buying from
Yeah,
me.
that's exactly what I'm.
But
So-
show to the house,
So what they're saying is, if somebody says, I don't know if you, how well you guys can hear the room. If somebody says, oh, you know what, I'm gonna use you 3 guys, and whoever find, all 4 of you, and whoever finds me the house first is the winner,
Yeah,
okay?
first guy-
So you have 2 choices, right? You have a choice not to work with that person, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a choice, you have a choice to work with that person, but then choosing that decision, if he finds a house, you can't turn around and say, hey, I've been working for months and months with you, and chase this guy because now he's getting the commission, right?
No, he tell
It's
me,
really
I all
difficult.
know the name,
Hmm.
and I work with him.
Yeah.
with the-
Yeah.
All 4 of them.
Mhm.
Who find it?
Yeah.
buy it.
I know some people are
Like, they'll
difficult, some,
straight up tell you that I don't wanna sign the BRA because
Yeah.
I'm working with other people, so I wanna go with the best, like, you know, my best choice, right? And
Right.
they'll straight up tell you too, they'll be like, oh, you know, if
buyer.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you don't wanna, like, if you're a little bit adamant and you say like, okay, but you know, you can sign with me and
Mhm.
then, you know, you can kind of keep looking with other people if you really want, because technically, I mean, if he signs with you, then if he finds another property, it would still come to you, right? Like, even when I tried.
Yeah, but you have to chase it. You have to find out how much time and energy you want to spend on RICO
Yeah.
complaints, right? And you don't want to be that person all the time anyways, right? I would just say you have to judge for yourself at that point. Are you really busy? Do you have other warm and hot leads to chase? Go chase them, right? If
Just
you
have
can
to-
put this person on back burner and passively send them an email, good. If they happen to see something they like and they call you, even better. If you have nothing to do, maybe you can put more time and energy to really finding them what they want. Maybe you're working harder than the other 3 then, right? But like I say, you have those 2 choices, either not to work with them at all, or if you work with them and you don't end up getting that, you spend months and months with them and you're not the one who they end up buying with, then you can't be the sore loser in that kind of situation. We can't force people to sign at the end of the day, right? And some people are smart. Some people will say, well, I'm only working with you in Pickering because I feel you're really knowledgeable in Pickering, but I'm working with you in Scarborough, right? And then I'm going to come to you if I'm going to buy anything in Mississauga. So when they sign the BRA, they'll only sign Scarborough, you know, Pickering and Mississauga. Or sometimes I've had people sign just that address. I'm only offering on this property with you for this address, right? It's what we can do at the end of the day, and how, you know, how busy you are and how much you want to work with that person, right?
So in that case,
Mhm.
when they're trying to do this kind of, oh, I'm working with 3 other people and whoever brings me the best deal kind of thing,
Mhm.
like, yes, it's a waste of time, but like, should we at least try to maybe meet them halfway and say like, okay, what about just in this area, if you want to sign the BRA? So it's like, if he finds it in another area, then it won't come to me, but at least in this area, I'll just help him in
You
this
can
area.
try and get your BRA signed whichever way you can, right? At the end of the day, it's gonna be a layer of protection for you, you know, if anything happens with RICO, or if they go and buy something, you have, you know, at least claimed the commission somewhat. If you have that
Like, yeah,
BRA
better
signed, you
than
can prove
nothing.
it, yeah. And not only that, like, I just want to do a little side note too. I hope you guys keep good files, right? So, and I've dealt with lots of RICO complaints and writing back responses and stuff like that. So what you need to do is you not only need that BRA sign, go and register that BR. I know nobody does it in the registry. Try and, you know, put your buyer in the registry on Stratus. Okay. On top of that, I also print every showing I do. I know we work kind of in modern society, you can go with your iPad, but I print it and I keep it in the file, the 10 properties I've shown them, and I usually write the date and time I've shown them on top. That's just the way habit I've been. So you have all of that and you can pull it up because you might be going, oh, which properties did I show them? I know they ended up buying that one, but what are the other 9 I showed? Because RICO wants to see your history of working with them, right? So did you work hard with them? Like I can prove I showed them 40 properties, and then they went about with that guy, and I have a BRA sign and he only showed them one. This is more my claim for commission, right? So make sure you print all those listings, write the date and time, you know what I mean? Keep it all together in one file for that particular client, right? Because at the end of the day, God forbid anything happens, you know, you'll have it all ready to go. And Rico really respects a quick response, because then they know you're not kind of running around formulating your response, right? If you get something and you send them out right away, a ton of paperwork going, no, I've just pulled out this whole file and this is everything I have for that client, right? They can see, right? So it's super important to keep that record of how you're working with your clients, right? Especially if they're not signing BRAs, it's a little difficult, but you know, you wanna try and keep the best record you can. Okay, so we'll go back to this here. Okay. So part of what we should be going over, yeah, what's up?
Sorry, just one
That's okay.
question now, so if something like this does go to Rico or whatever, like, and we do, when, like, if we do have to approve something or whatever, like, all those legal fees or anything like that doesn't come out of, like, it's the brokerage covers all of that, or?
No, you're gonna be responsible for it at the end of the day, unless they find the brokerage liable for something. But the thing is that part of the training we're gonna be doing is compliance, right? So, you know, we're gonna say, hey, you know, you guys know what you're doing. You should be knowing what you're doing, right? So you guys gotta really govern what you're doing. It's not gonna come out of the brokerage pocket. It's gonna come out of yours. And Rico will,
Even if we haven't, like, even if we're not in the wrong or anything?
even if you're not in the wrong, but the thing is, it's not a legal fee. It's like, it's just a complaint. It's a complaint they give you and you have to give a response. And then if they find you wrong, then they'll fine you, or they can suspend your license, or they can revoke your license, depending on how bad what you've done is, right? So just
Well, and maybe
don't do
I'm-
anything bad, not under my watch.
No, I'm asking, because of the thing that you brought up, where it's like, if they just want responses and you can show them that, oh yeah, I've been working with this client and
Mhm.
everything. And then let's say they come back and they say, like, no, we're not gonna like grant this, but that's like, they're not gonna fine you for that, right? Like, it'll just be like, okay, you just don't get.
If someone else is, if you're trying to complain that you want commission, they'll say no. Yeah, usually it's just that, because you haven't done anything wrong at this point.
Yeah, it's just. a
You're
matter
complaining
of,
that your
yeah.
client went with this agent and you're trying to claim some of that agent's commission if that
So
happens, right?
that's what I'm saying, like,
So-
we're not getting fined or any legal fees or anything.
No,
like
you're
that.
not gonna get fined or anything unless you've done something wrong, right? But I'm saying, like, if someone's trying to claim your commission because they signed a BRA with you and you work with that client, you definitely want to make sure that you have all your paperwork, your BRA, your listings that you've printed, the time, date you showed them, any text messages, conversations you have with them. Hey, are you working with another agent? Or, you know, any kind of paper trail is good. I'm a big on paper trail. So keep everything, and it's better to know this up front, because then you have it all together. You're not scrambling if anything happens. So just get in a good habit of keeping good files for all your clients, right? Okay, so what do we got here? 20 minutes. Okay, I think we can go quickly over a little bit of paperwork now. So we'll go over.
Meeting board. I
Yeah.
don't get any house. If I putting offer, always I'm missing. What I have to do?
When you're putting offers in,
Yeah.
is it because of multiple
yeah,
representation?
So.
Okay,
give me
I
a-
actually just went over that the other day. It's up on our YouTube, but I can sit with you right after this and go over the multiple representation
yeah,
for
what
sure.
I have to do,
Yeah, how to win bidding wars, and give you some tips and tricks for sure. Because I have some tips and tricks that like I use that I think work, right? So I'll totally talk to you right after
I'll
this. I just
join
wanna-
that.
Cool. Okay, so working with a realtor. What is this? Is everybody explaining this to their clients, right? We should be getting everybody to sign this, right? And now it's mandatory that we give them a copy. It never used to be, but you know, now we have to give them copies, right? We have to explain to them. So I don't read the whole thing with them. I'm giving them a copy now anyways. I say, if you have any questions, fine. But you guys have to be able to explain this document really briefly. So what are we saying to our clients? We're saying to our clients, we're giving you a brief synopsis of what it is to have, what kind of working relationship we have together. Okay. So you can be my customer where, you know, I am giving you information, but you haven't hired me officially, and I'm not getting paid a commission for selling your house or, you know, purchasing your house. we can have a client relationship where I have a due diligence for you, right? And the client relationship can be seller representation or buyer representation, right? And then we can run into the situation where there's multiple representation, where if you're purchasing something that what someone from my brokerage has listed, or if, you know, a buyer's coming in on a listing that you have, right? So you're just going to explain that briefly to them, and you're going to get them to say whether they're the seller or the buyer. So in this case, we're talking about buyers today, that you're representing the interest, right? And a signature and a date. So that one's pretty straightforward. Okay, but then we go on to the BRA. Okay, we talk so much about getting the BRA signed, but you have to be able to explain the BRA properly to them. So you can say to them, hey, this is exactly why we get the BRA signed. It protects me and it protects you at the end of the day, right? So this is kind of legalese that they've taken apart and put in more layman's terms for everybody. So they say the form is a contract between the buyer and a real estate company that gives the real estate company permission to act on the buyer's behalf in the purchase of a property. Okay. Assuming the buyer is a client to the real estate company, the Real Estate Council of Ontario, Ontario's governing body, REBA Code of Ethics, requires that a salesperson have a written buyer representation agreement presented for signature prior to an offer being presented on behalf of the buyer. So if RECO's looking, they're going to look at these dates. Okay. If your offer was done on May 1st and you did a BRA because you forgot on May 5th, they're not going to take that. Let me also remind you, backdaters, do not do this in Authentisign. I go over this again when I do my Authentisign training, but you cannot backdate an Authentisign. You know that it's time stamping everything, right? And so they look at that certificate, they'll ask you for certificates or things that you had Authentisign, right? Make sure you're not backdating your BRAs, right? The section at the top identifies the parties involved in the agreement and the time frame for which the contract is valid. Okay, so just so we're all filling these out properly, because I find some people don't understand some of the things on our paperwork. So I try to go over our everyday paperwork, right? So we're putting between the brokerage. We put the brokerage name here. We don't put our name, right? I see some come through with our name sometimes. The brokerage address, right? Phone number, fax number. We put our buyers' names, right? Pretty straightforward. Their address and everything. Commencing at. When is this BRA commencing? Well, as soon as they are able to sign it, right? So if they're signing it tonight, because it's the first time I'm giving them the showing at 6 o'clock, great, 6 o'clock today, okay? Then we're going to cover the period, okay? Well, I think they want to find something that's pretty easy to find. I think it can do that in 3-4 months. We'll put 3-4 months in there. Whereas maybe they really want to buy, 24 acres of farmland that only farms avocados. I don't know, something strange, right? I might sign them for longer than 6 months, right? So they have to put an additional initial here to say that they're signing for longer than 6 months, right? They also have to say that they're not working with another agent. Sorry, this is the older form. But now our form has the extra box in it. I'll have to upload it. But we know that there's also a circle there now saying that, we're not working with another agent, right? Okay. Property type or use. What are you guys generally putting in here?
Residential.
No, yeah, exactly. Single family residential or commercial or whatever they're looking for, right? Okay.
Is there a way to blanket? Like, is it better to put like dwelling or something?
So this isn't where I blanket most of the time because it's either going to be residential or commercial. I generally blanket the next one, geographic location. Okay. In your benefit, it's best to be as broad as possible, right? Because if you say I'm, looking, they're looking in Toronto and they buy Scarborough, they're going to say, no, well, you only put Toronto in here. Or if you're showing them a bunch of houses in Scarborough and they buy East York, right? So we're going to want to be really broad on this. We're going to want to be as broad as our client will allow us to be on this. So most don't pay too much attention, except for those ones that are asking you to only put that address there or only put Pickering there. So I usually put GTA and surrounding areas. Okay, so GTA and surrounding areas is going to cover a wide range. It'll cover, if they buy it in Bowmanville, that's a surrounding area on our TREB MLS system, right? So I encourage you guys to be as broad as possible to help you try and protect you should anything happen with your BRA, right? Has anybody ever asked you to read all the little legalese happening within the paperwork, right? You guys have to know what these clauses are in case you get asked. You can't go, oh, I don't know, just sign it, right? So you have to be prepared, and you get used to reading your document upside down, right? So you need to know which ones they're pointing at. So definitions and interpretations. Basically, the following section defines who will be referred to as the buyer and seller for the remaining of the document. So this is just defining in this legal document who's the buyer and who's the seller, right? Okay. The commission. The following section establishes the commission structure for the process. It states that the buyer understands that the real estate company will be paid a fee by the company that has the property listed. Meaning, like I say, you say to them, it's a free service. It's a free service to your buyer because who's paying? The seller, the listing company, right? If the buyer indicates in the commission portion to pay the real estate company a specific amount, and the portion offered by the company listing the property is less than what the buyer has agreed to pay, then the buyer is responsible for the difference, okay? So you have to draw their attention to this, because I'm sure most of you, I'll finish reading this part first. The buyer is informed of the commission amount being paid by the company with whom the property is listed. I'll answer you 1 second, Sudaran. So here, we're going to be putting in, if during the currency of this agreement, the buyer enters into an agreement of purchase and sale, the property of the general description indicated above, the buyer agrees that the brokerage is entitled to be paid a commission of, what are we putting here most of the time? 2.5, right? 2.5 is standard. Or you can put, you know, a standard amount, but most of the 99% of the time we're putting 2.5 here, right? So you have to explain to your buyers, okay, I'm going to show you 40 homes. Tomorrow we turn around and buy a FSBO that you found, and the for sale by owner is only giving $1,000 commission. You're responsible for the balance of the commission. A lot of our buyers don't realize this, right? So we want to make them aware of what they're signing and filling out. Let me just stop the share for a second so I could answer your question there. Where'd you go? How can I help you out there? You had a question for me?
Just a quick question. It's not about the BRA, but what if buyers are asking commission from our commission, like a share of the commission?
Like a cashback.
Cashback, yeah.
Okay, so I walk around this subject really cautiously. We're not allowed to give cash back. That's just what it is at the end of the day, right? We're allowed to give referral fees up to $1,000 properly at the brokerage level, which you can get a proper check cut, but we are not allowed to do cashbacks. So I also understand that we're in a really competitive field, and tons of agents out there are doing that. They're giving cashbacks, right? I would be I caution you guys to be really careful. Try and appeal to your clients in different ways. Maybe with a Visa gift card or something, so it just looks like a gift after or something. Please do not reduce it to writing at all in text or email, because the thing is even if you're doing it, yeah, because you know you're selling to your cousin and your aunt, you're saying, oh, I'm going to give you $1,000 cash back, no problem, when we finish the deal. It shouldn't be something that's widespread. Never put it in your advertisements.
Right now, they are asking client.
Yeah.
Give me a 1%, 1.5% more than we are making.
Yeah.
They are asking.
Yes, I know.
If I
So
say
it's
1%, this guy say 1.5%.
I know. I know. It's the same thing that I think about people that list for 1% all the time, right?
No,
It
this
kills
is
our
not
industry.
right.
It's killing, I know, that's what I'm saying. It's the same difference. It's killing our industry, the people that are doing this. This is why I'm saying, I know, I just want to caution you guys, we're not allowed to do it, but frankly, having a conversation with you guys, a lot of guys are doing it. So it's something that you might, especially when it's your family, right? Or friends, they expect it, right? So it's a subject.
1%. It's a family, right? Because they say, oh, it's like you're my niece or something, like why should I even pay you? Because
but you have to remind them you're not paying me and you're not getting a better price for it. I mean, technically, or if I'm giving you money back, it's money in your pocket, right? Most of my clients who I don't know, I always say, I'm sorry, we're not allowed to do that. It's against the law, right? I flat say it because I'm not willing to work really hard and then give it away. You know what I mean? I don't honestly think I've ever given a cash back. I might give like a Visa card if it's my cousin, or buy a really nice gift afterwards or something, but I generally don't. I give referral fees all the time to make my family and friends happy. Well, you know what? You turn around and refer me, I'll give you a referral fee tomorrow if that person uses me, but you're not allowed to do it. So if you guys are going to offer it, which I know is going to happen, there's 100 of us, we're trying to be competitive out in our field. Please do not reduce it to writing in any which way. That's my only request of you. Yeah. Don't reduce it to writing.
Don't give any money. It's better.
It's better, yeah, because if they are upset with you after the transaction or something, and they realize that you agreed to give me 1,000, but now, you know, I think I want 2,000. And then they do a thing at Rico and say, he promised me cash back. Look, it's in his text, right? You're going to be in big trouble. So, yeah, just, I mean, as general, don't do it. There's nothing wrong with like,
Nothing wrong.
there's nothing wrong with not doing it. But if you're trying to be super competitive, like you're trying to win a bid in the family, don't use this guy in your office. Use me, I'm your niece. You know, I'll give you $1,000 after. I don't know. It's up to you guys. But yeah, definitely we're not allowed to do it. That's what I caution you guys. And that's what I'm supposed to train you guys. You're not supposed to do it, period. Right.
That's it.
And generally, honestly, it's a thing I never do this, but I never do it to get a new client, especially someone I don't know. It's not worth my license. I always
It's
say
usually
at
people
the end of the
you
day, I have to feed my family, right? I need my license at the end of the day. So, right.
Okay.
It's
I
there's
think
nothing
it's
wrong.
easier when it's not your family, because then I can be firm and I can be like, I'm sorry, like,
Sorry,
you
yeah.
know, but when it is.
Why would I
somebody
risk
from
my
your-
license for you and
for
I don't know
yeah, and
you,
then-
right?
Yeah,
So
but when it comes to like, I feel like it's harder to say no to family. Like,
it is harder. There's other ways you can appease them though. Tell them you'll give them referral fees in the future for anyone. Because we're allowed to give a referral fee, that's fine. You know, have a good relationship with them that way. Or yeah, I'm gonna try to do something nice, buy them a nice gift after or something when they close, you know, something nicer than the bottle of wine you give your regular customer or something, right? So I just want to go over this BRA before we run out of too much time. Representation. So this part covers the different types of representation. So it's kind of going over the working with a realtor brochure again. So if they ask you, well, what does this mean? You know, what's multiple representation? A lot of people are misconstrued. You guys have to understand that multiple representation is not only when the same person uses you, the buyer and seller, but if Sebastian has a listing and my guy buys it, that's multiple representation. We're out of the same office, right? So you guys have to be making sure that you're signing your documents properly on the multiple representation part. If you buy inter-office or if the same buyer client and seller client is using you, right? Referral of properties. The following section requires the buyer to commit to work with the real estate company for the length of the contract and states that they must inform the salesperson if they become aware of a property of interest to them. If they do not inform the salesperson of a property of interest that they subsequently purchased on their own, the set commission will still be owed to the salesperson. So you've signed a BRA with me. That's why I always tell them very nicely, hey, if you see anything out there, give me a call. I'll answer any questions you have about that property and we'll go see it. We'll book a time to see it, right? You have to remind them that. Indemnification. This asserts that the salesperson cannot be held liable for the condition of the property. It is the responsibility of the buyer to educate themselves on the condition of the property. So again, doing our due diligence, we should be telling our clients that they should be having a home inspection. If they don't have a home inspection, we should be telling them about the risks of not having a home inspection. Right now, I know a lot of home inspectors, because so many things are such a hot bid situation, that a lot of home inspectors are walking through that half-hour slot and giving a brief synopsis of what they think of the property, right? Because a lot of these home inspectors aren't busy right now because it's just not happening, right? So they're doing a lot of pre-lists and they're doing a lot of walkthrough inspections during the showing, right? You want to offer these kind of options to your buyers, especially if they're going in on a firm deal, right? Finder's fees. This provides consent for the salesperson to accept any finder's fee that the mortgage company may offer to them. It also states that this fee would be collected by the salesperson in addition to the slated commission. It should be noted that specific consent will be required at the time of finder's fee arises, right? So again, you know, we declare everything, and if you, same as we're offering referral fees, we might get offered referral fees from people that we work with in our network, right? Consumer reports states that the buyer understands the credit checks and personal information about them may be used in the process of them purchasing a property, right? Obviously. Use and distribution of information. The following section gives salespeople the right under the Privacy Act to use personal information provided them by the buyer in order to assist in making the transaction happen. It also assures the buyer that this information will not be distributed to third parties. So obviously we need to collect their you know, ID, we need to fill out the individual identification records. We need to share that with the deal secretary, and like, you know, we need to share the agreement of purchase and sale, who they're purchasing the property with the mortgage company, the lawyers. We have to distribute this information, right? Conflict or discrepancy. If there are other schedules, additional information added to this agreement by the parties involved that contain something specific that contradicts what is in the text of this form, the information on the attached supersedes what's on the form. Meaning that if we add a schedule to this, whatever the original clause on here isn't valid anymore. We've added a schedule to it, right? Electronic communication, that one's easy. You know, a lot of time we're not faxing now. It's mostly email, right? It's just letting our clients know that. Schedules, you have to say if you're adding a schedule to this. I really don't think I've ever found a reason to add a schedule to a BRA, but I'm sure there are reasons that people do. So it's there if you're adding the schedule. And then the salesperson, this is where you're going to sign, right? Then the buyer has to sign. Then you have to declare your insurance. So we're just declaring that we're insured and bonded, right? And the acknowledgement, super important. Every time you're going for any appointment, you need to bring 2 copies of this because we need to be presenting them with a copy right away as soon as they sign the agreement, right? Or if they're authentic signing, emailing them a copy right away. So we can't forget that. Okay. I have tons more to cover with buyers, but we'll have to do it another day. You got a question, Sebastian? Yes. How can I help you?
I'm a buyer,
Yes.
okay, and I'm gonna buy a house.
Okay.
So what happens, I sign a buyer's agent agreement. I book with you.
Yes.
I find the right house. Then I like it. Then I ask my sister or brother to buy it on my behalf. They haven't signed a buyer's agent agreement, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And they use a different agent, right? Right?
That's super
And
tricky.
then,
Yeah.
after the closing, after a couple of weeks, I get the title under my name and comply to the buyer's agent agreement that I signed first with that agent. Ah,
That's super convoluted. Okay, so I have a couple things wrong with this. That's
it happened.
it does happen. Hey, everything happens. There's nothing I haven't heard, right?
What are you doing
Wait.
in this house? You know, your brother bought it or your sister. Now you live in there. Ah, I'm gonna get you with a commission. But it does no, but in the. buyer's
Hard to
agent
prove,
agreement,
hard to prove, yeah.
That's not, it should be. I
So
know
it's a
why.
really expensive way unless it's
I
a
know why.
close relative. Unless it's a close relative, you
A
can't
friend,
gift a
a brother or
property.
sister.
It can't be
Can you
just a
do me
friend.
favor?
It
Can you
can't be
buy the
just a
house
friend
on my
because
behalf?
the thing is that why would someone pay land transfer tax twice in such a short period, right? So I imagine that would happen in a gift situation where you can only gift a property to someone close, right? Like, you know, your son, your husband, whatever, they have the, you know, the lawyer, you can gift it and then you're only, you know, paying the transfer amount of the deed to the lawyer instead of the whole land transfer. The city wants their land transfer tax. So if I'm just your friend and I'm going to change title with you, you better believe we're paying land transfer tax again, right? So I don't know if someone's going to go through that and pay land transfer tax again. I don't know how you're going to chase them for a commission. They just, you know, but yeah, that's funny. That actually happened to you though.
No, it depends if it's a $5 million deal or $10 million.
This is what I'm
deal
saying.
or
Okay.
$10 million deal. That transfer tax doesn't matter to them because, you know, they got what they want. Right?
So at the end of the day, I caution you guys just to try your best to do your BRA, try your best to do your paperwork, try your best to be good to your clients, because at the end of the day, when you guys come to me, I can guarantee you my response a lot of the time, if it's for like $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 commission, how much time and energy do you want to waste tied up at RICO, right? And do you want that name? Because that word of mouth will also go around, you know, that, you know, you were chasing for this. You're right. If it's like $5 million property, absolutely. You know what I mean? But you're still gonna have to have your paperwork in order, right? But assuming that you're really good to your clients and you have all your paperwork in order, this should never happen to you. None of you, knock on wood. And if you guys are unsure about anything while you're doing your transactions, working with your buyers, come to me. Always, I'm here. You know, now that I'm here, you guys can call, text me anytime you like, any day. Usually I always tell my agents, you know, if it's 11 o'clock at night and you text me, as long as I answer, you know, I'm awake and I'm answering, right? If I don't answer, it means I've dozed off for the night, but really and truly, I'll always answer as many times as I can. And you guys are welcome on your comfort level, either to come into the office and book 1-hour sessions with me, or you can catch me on Zoom. If you say, you know, tomorrow, 3 o'clock, I want to have a Zoom chat with you to talk to you about something really specific that I'm having trouble with, anytime, guys, right? So, yeah, anybody have any questions there online about anything? How are you guys doing there? You guys are quiet. you guys, I encourage you, especially whether you're, well, I shouldn't say especially if you're a new agent, if you're any sort of agent you feel you need anything, just shout out to me and I'll help you walk through, especially now it's listing season. I want to work on some lead generation. I want to work on, you know, strengthening our pillars that we're working on to help us get business. And, you know, at the end of the day, good business practice hopefully is bringing you lots of repeat and referral business too, right? So thank you so much, everyone. It was very nice seeing you, everybody online. Very nice seeing all of you. And I will page out the topic for Tuesday morning, either later today or tomorrow. All right. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Christine.
You're welcome.